Welcome to another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, we try to forget the snow and the cold and start thinking spring, baseball, Barrie Baycats Baseball, and changes to the league. Locallicious is back. That should help warm you up a bit. And we get our regular update on the surging Barrie Colts. We get the conversation started after this. The Intercounty Baseball League is no more, becoming the Canadian Baseball League since the end of last season, a professional league. What does that mean for the Barrie Baycats? Nothing but good, says Baycats President, GM, and Manager Josh Matlow. He paints a picture of what's to come with Barrie 360's Julius Hern.
All right, Josh, first off, congratulations, because I guess now you're the president, GM, and manager of a professional baseball team. That's really exciting. And you played in the IBL 20 years ago. At that point, did you ever think that something like this was even possible?
Yeah, I did, actually. That's a great question. Being a player, you realize the talent level. When I got in, I was a Division I player, freshman out of college. I had no idea. I got Ryan Spatero throwing an absolute seed across the diamond, and I was kind of puzzled. Where am I? And if I deserved to even be there, it was such great talent. So they've spoke about going professional for so many years, even when I was playing. But it's always operated as a professional level organization, not only the Baycats but the league. Now we're just making it official.
When did you realize that was possible, or when were you convinced that was possible?
The last couple of years, it kind of a little momentum within the league meetings. A lot of new ownership came in from some of the other teams. About half the league has new owners. They're progressive. They want to, advance the league. They want to advance Canadian baseball. So it was kind of a good opportunity with the Blue Jays at a high in baseball and registrations and at its peak. Everyone kind of focusing and paying attention to baseball. It was a really good opportunity to do so. And all of the teams and the ownership were aligned with, the same vision, and it was kind of the perfect time.
So is this more of a rebrand or a reinvention of what the league is that you know?
I think neither, to be honest with you. It's going to operate the exact same way. It's still going to have that community, local feel to it. We still are within municipalities and local backyard baseball. The rebrand of the CBL is a little more fitting to the footprint and the growth we're going to have over time. Intercounty was just the counties, basically. Now it's going to kind of expand, and it could expand outside of Ontario. There is talks eventually, and maybe turn into the CFL kind of thing down the road. So it kind of opens that opportunity. It opens up, the Canadian footprint and its landmark, and it's just exciting times. In
your mind, will the level of play improve, even though there's not really a whole lot of, those really deep changes, as you were saying?
I believe so. I mean, there's just going to be some challenges. I mean, salary cap, making sure everyone's kind of at the same level. You got to fit 28 guys within your salary cap. Some of these players here are pro, and they think the moon and the stars are coming their way, and you got to be realistic. So we got to find guys who have that happy balance between I want to continue to play at a high level, and it's not so much about the money, but it's about the opportunity and the exposure and the brand awareness for themselves. I say it to my guys all the time. If you properly align yourself with the Baycats brand, you're going to be known within the community, and you're going to have an opportunity to get a job and maybe make a life here. And we've had some of those guys already do that in the offseason, stick around from Montreal and Saskatchewan. And, that's kind of becoming, a historic theme from some of the players who move up here, myself included, from Toronto. So it's going in that direction.
I was going to say, we'll get to your team specifically later on. I definitely want to touch on the Baycats as they stand for 26, but you mentioned the salary cap. Does that mean that we might see terms of deals be announced or be released in terms of like we see in Major League Baseball, for example?
Absolutely. So anything's really available now. So it's one of those things where, and I'm working on a couple of them as we speak, to be the first CBL multi-year deal. And, you got to understand too, as an investment in these players, we want to make sure that they're in it long term too. We don't want 1 year guys, not a ton of value, for longevity. And since I've come in, I've tried to build that core and have those guys coming back. And it says a lot about, what we're doing and our vision, that the guys want to, sign in as soon as the season's done the year before, and that these guys continuously come back. And we have some guys who are now going into my 6th year have been with me since day one.
Like a guy like Frank Garces, a guy that's an import that's been with you for so long. And I think now having the import limit at 8, in your experience, because you were also in the Dominican Republic not too long ago scouting, is this league, even as the Intercounty Baseball League as it was, is this a league that is known internationally outside of Canada and the United States?
It definitely is. I think that was kind of the misconception with the whole league. Are we semi-pro? Are we men's league? Or what are we? There was no real understanding of that because you couldn't be pro because we had collegiate players, college NCAA players. So I think this is just to kind of shape up what we have been operating as for many years. It kind of answers some questions. This will give us more global visibility, not only for Dominican, but for Venezuela, Mexico, all those good baseball countries. But that's that's what's trending. That's what we're going towards. So it is known. Obviously, they speak. The Dominicans speak to other Dominicans. We ran a pro style tryout camp. We were there last week, and we just got back. And we had 45 guys show up to a workout that was invite only, basically just through word of mouth. And these were 40 of the 45 were minor leaguers. So they know there's an opportunity in Canada. We had one of our former players, Emily Guerrero, who it was his hometown. He showed up. Carlos Sano, one of our current players, showed up. Brant Villafonte came with us. It's his hometown. So there was a lot of connection over there. And, we built that bridge, historically bringing Dominicans. But, it's definitely known that Canada's a thing.
Will the players, especially your veteran guys that have been in this league a long time, think of like Ryan Rio, Hayden Jaco, are these guys going to actually feel like it's pro baseball?
Yeah, I think it's cool to say, but again, we're operating the same way. Nothing really changes. It's more just a status thing. The status is going to be good for guys who are kind of on the bubble and saying, hey, do I chase the dream in the Frontier League? Do I go and sleep on a couch in the Pecos League and all these independent leagues? Or do I stay home, where my family can come watch me play and play at a high level? So the plan is to increase the quality of baseball as we grow. It should, having more imports automatically, because you're taking away 3 spots that were maybe bench players or local guys or college guys who weren't even with us with the playoffs. And you're going to have full-time guys now or, more of a bullpen and stuff like that. So it's going to organically grow just based on those numbers, but I think it's going to attract a lot of attention from not only Canadian baseball players but international baseball players to want to come and play at a high level.
In my opinion, I think because of that specifically, it's going to make, on the surface level at least, the regular season now with more games, 6 more games, and the playoffs that's a bit more condensed now, it's going to make it a lot more competitive. As you said, guys that were in college that weren't going to be available for the playoffs, that's not really a thought anymore. You're going to have these basically pro-level guys in your lineup day to day.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that sometimes, as a manager, I could speak as a manager here, field manager, I can only pitch the guys who are available that day. Whereas you have a full roster of full-time guys, I get my options. Do I want to go to the righty? Do I want to go to lefty? A lot of times you're handcuffed into who's available, who's not at a wedding, or who's not at their cottage. It became not only a working man's league, but I'll make it when I can league. And by going professionally, I think there's more expectation to be there more often, but to be available, but to have these imports come over and be full-time guys. So it'll be fun on the coaching aspect of things, because I'll have more than just whoever's available. You build a proper bench, you can build a proper bullpen, and it's actually quite exciting, I'm not going to lie.
And obviously this first year, 2026, there's going to be a lot to learn from, a lot of growing pains, and a lot different from, the players' aspect. But what's the league focusing on that they can look at in 2026 to say, hey, we can do this?
I think the biggest thing this year is aligning all our brands and making sure that the minimum standards are met and all the teams have the professional expectations, the extra cameras for the broadcast, and have proper players that are again there all the time, and just consistency obviously throughout the league. We're all partners in this, right? So the one thing that people don't know behind the scenes is we're all trying to work together, and there's teams supporting each other to help. If it's jumping on a marketing call, it's helping behind the scenes. To make sure that everybody's successful. And that's our goal. So, there's a lot of skepticism about the professional name and a lot of fans asking questions. It's not a lot is going to change. And there's a lot of very good people behind this that are going to help push this forward. And I can say that, from the horse's mouth. I've been in these meetings and I know the intentions, and it's all good stuff, and it's aligning our brands properly and pushing us to be the best brand of baseball we can be.
So when you see this in terms of your ambition, 5 years in the future, what do you think is possible, or what do you see as realistic?
Expansion teams, television deals. I mean, the sky is really the limit. We're taking it a year at a time, and it's not the big picture we're chasing. It's again, lining the brands, getting everyone on board, all the new ownership. Again, half the league has new ownership, is kind of on the same level. And, it's kind of pushing the old school guys, into the new modern era a little bit. And it's, we're adapting appropriately, but like I said, it's a good group of guys, a good group of human beings that are behind this, including our commissioner, with all positive things to work towards.
So on that note, I do want to now get to your team, the Baycats. A lot of recent success. You told me 39% increase in your attendance last year, which is very impressive. Will there actually be any day-to-day operational changes for you now that it's professional?
As we grow, and there are some things in the works I can't obviously speak about, but it'll come out in the public eventually. But there's a lot of work behind the scenes that are going on. We might have to increase our staffing for sure as we grow, but that's an internal thing and nothing that is surprising or we're not prepared for. But that's a good problem to have, right? So as we grow and things become busier and busier, obviously for me, I'm only one person, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now, and I like to think I never get overwhelmed, but not everyone's built like me. But as we grow, things will change, but for the better. And again, I just want to drive home that this is a community team, supported and sponsored by the community for Simcoe region. Nothing will change, and as long as I'm a part of it, I can promise you guys that nothing will change on that front. It's still going to feel like your IBL small town baseball, and we may grow in attendance, and eventually down the road maybe have a bigger venue that can hold more. And but that's obviously the short term goal, but. Like I said, everything's kind of growing in the right direction, and it's really cool to be a part of. Do
you think any of your local fans will be put off by the name changes or the status changes?
Yeah, maybe at first. There's some players put off who've been in the league for many years. I've been a part of the league for many, many years. It's adapting too, and we kind of have to accept that. I know a lot of people, and you get not only your older fan base, but your older players that are they don't want change, right? And they think that it's going to take away from what it used to be. Again, not a lot is changing. Yes, the C instead of the I, but Intercounty represents municipalities where Canadian, the C, can represent the whole country. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to represent the best brand of baseball in the country, where guys who or players, for example, that graduate out of the WCBL, the Western Collegiate Baseball League, can come over and play in the highest level of baseball in Canada. So all the right reasons. It's good momentum, for baseball and Canadian baseball. So I'm excited about it, and like I said, there's a lot of positive stuff to be very excited about.
So obviously your fans are still going to be able to find the games and go to the games where they usually would have before in the last few years. Well, let's look at way you can improve game presentation. Is there anything like that in the works, whether in person or online? Yeah,
there'll be hopefully some more in-game, engagements. Obviously, we don't want to turn it into a circus, and God bless Welland, they do a fantastic job. They're a lot of fun to play as a visiting team, but they're the fans first, and they're all about the fun and the circus stuff, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I find our fans are a little more classic and old school baseball, and we appreciate that as well. But you got to find the happy medium. You got to engage the fans. We've done a really good job at the junior Baycats, the Saturday afternoon games, and getting the kids involved. And again, we're going back to the whole. Not a lot is going to change. The ticket prices are not going to change too much. I mean, there's 3 more home games, so it will reflect that. But kids 12 and under are still going to be free. We still want kids coming out and families coming out to be to make memories and be a part of things. So that's gonna continue, and we're still gonna try and draw good attendance and draw good theme nights and have fun at the ballpark. But again, the kids are important to us. The 12 and unders for free is going to remain the same, and we're going to work on a few things like the broadcast and get additional cameras and views and try and get a little more professional in really every aspect. We're always trying to be better.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you about ticket prices. I'm sure fans are the most curious about that, but knowing that they're going to stay the same. And again, I know you're big on the kids 12 and under being free. That's been a hallmark for your time with the Baycats.
Absolutely.
What's your team's spending strategy now that you have a salary cap to kind of work with? What's your kind of strategy? It's not fantasy baseball anymore.
It does become fantasy baseball in a way, because every guy has a want and a need and an ask. We do have some volunteer players, believe it or not. Some of the guys have asked to not get paid, to understand that we have to balance everything and make sure we're still competitive. The good news is we have a very competitive team as of last year, and we assume a very good portion, if not all of them, are coming back. So adding a few imports, adding a little bit of a bullpen, there's no reason we can't stay competitive. So we're excited about that. But it's really balancing and allowing the players to understand that just because we're pro, you don't get the big paycheck. It's still an honest man, working man's league where some guys get gas money, some guys get, bigger amounts, smaller amounts, and some guys are volunteers essentially. So it's balancing, and I think this is my forte being in business and why I came to the organization is being able to balance that and find not only something that works, but something that remains competitive. And I feel like a lot of the other teams are going to have quite the challenge with that because I don't think they have as much of a grip on things.
Are trades more difficult now?
Trades will be more common now, I think. What happened was they used to do a release and sign. Now it's going to actually be officially like a trade. So it may or may not. Again, at the end of the day, if a player says, I don't want to go and play in that team when I live in this city, that's still some of the things that, we're working with the IBL being a small town baseball. Guy doesn't want to have to travel 2.5 hours. It's not like the MLB where they go and they buy an apartment. And these are little things that, you got to work towards. But guys are always going to be moving, and with the salary cap in place, I'm going to assume a ton of kids are going to be moving all over the place because, one, they're going to need to find a place to play, and two, they're going to have to, again, rejig their rosters to make sure everything kind of works.
There's been talk about, with more games in the regular season, obviously the added skill level. Do you think there's going to be like an asterisk on statistics compared to what we saw in the IBL days now in the CBL?
Well, I mean, we went from 36 to 42 not long ago. I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was. No, there's not going to be asterisks. That's what it is now, and records are meant to be broken, and they will be, but they're keeping the same history books. So, and I think that was what was important to guys like myself who have been a part of things. And I'm that guy in the meeting. I'm not going to lie that I stand up and I say my piece and make sure that, we're all on the right page. And I'm very pro league. I want this league to succeed. And the idea of that 48 games was you get a team like the 8th seed, and if they get swept in the first round, they only get one playoff game. Whereas by increasing the 3 home, you get 3 home games. You may not make the playoffs, but if you're in, and again, shortening the teams to 5, basically that creep in. If you're in 6th and 7th place, you might still have a chance, an outside chance, and you're still in it. And then the fans will come out. And whereas the last few games, we noticed a little bit of decrease in attendance, where people are like, I'll just wait for the playoffs. Everybody makes it. So now it's going to be a little more interesting. Hopefully the fan engagement, hopefully it's close towards the bottom of the standings where it all matters towards the end. And I think that's what the league's hoping for, that with that competitive, that, everyone's on the salary cap, everyone's aligned, everyone's got this parity amongst the league. And, they're hoping for that. And that would make it for a lot more excitement for the fans. But then also you get the playoff teams that are in the top 4. It's going to be very competitive, and it's going to be exactly what the fans and the league wants.
Well, professional baseball is in Barrie. I think that's a super exciting thing. Barrie's first professional sports team, which
I
think a lot of people are kind of they don't see that. I think so. I think it's we're counting down the days till opening day, which is I think really exciting. Thank you so much for your time, Josh. I'm super excited for opening day.
Likewise, thank you for having me, Julius, and I hope to see you at the ballpark.
Well, if that's not enough to take the winter's edge off, maybe this will help. Locallicious is back starting this weekend, a chance to experience many of the area's best restaurants at a fixed price. Organizer Randy Feltus stopped in down the hall on Cool Mornings with Dale and Charlie with a preview.
As if the month hasn't been long enough, but fortunately there's light at the end of the tunnel. And here's our own little ray of sunshine. Randy Feltus in
What's up,
morning.
Dale?
Hey! You always come in, and we love having you in because it's never bad news. It's always good news you bring.
We need this so bad. Locallicious is back.
Yeah.
We're going from the 23rd to February 8th. And listen, this weather is making me depressed.
Yeah.
I need
food
red
makes
wine.
you happy.
Yes.
Food makes you happy. I
Yes.
need red wine. I need steak. I need
Yes.
a chunk of fish. I need some Brussels sprouts. I need some French fries. I need a Harvey Wallbanger. I need a lot of things to make this anger go away from the snowstorm.
And this is where it comes in, right? So we've got, how many restaurants are participating?
They're coming more every day, but I think we're up past 15 now.
Wow.
Right? We've got a really cool place in Aurelia called Providence Wine Bar.
Okay.
His resume is glorious, and you can see it in the menu and the food. You got to go try that out. And then we've got a lot of restaurants coming back, like the North, for example, and the Crazy Fox.
Love the Crazy Fox. We were just talking about
Yeah.
it. You know why I love it? It's because when you go to the Crazy Fox, it's like, oh my God, it's 1994.
They're still kicking it the
Yeah,
same way. But
I
you know
love
what?
it.
They've been doing it so long, it's becoming cool again.
It is,
Like
that's
if you
it.
want perfectly cooked vegetables with
Yes.
a liver and onions at lunch or the
Wow.
rack of lamb at night, oh.
I know. It's such a cool place.
So it's price fixed,
Price fix, we're as low as $30 for 3 course, and maximum is $45 for 3 courses, which in today's day and age,
That's really good.
it's pretty good.
That's like really good because most apps nowadays are like around
$22.
Right. So you're good. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I remember when chicken wings,
Yeah.
you know, your pound would be
Yeah.
like, what, $6.99, $8.99?
$6.99.
Now they're, what are they, 14,
Dale,
16?
you going to talk about O'Toole's 1 cent wings?
No, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Penny wings.
You know,
Charlie,
so,
you don't even know. They just wanted us there for the beer.
We've been around a while, you know?
Yeah.
but I mean, that's what I mean. Like that, when you think about the price of that, what you're getting, the value, I mean, it's just incredible.
Everything has gone up in the grocery stores and
Yeah.
the malls and everything. But $45 for 3 courses is a total steal. And the restaurateurs want you in there.
Yeah.
They want you to be happy in January, and they need the extra business. So now is the time to support your local and independent local restaurants.
And that's
So-
the beauty of Locallicious is it is local,
Yeah.
independent restaurants.
They're making real food. They're not opening up boxes of Cisco and reheating.
Exactly.
They're cooking and creating.
Reservations. How do people like?
Oh,
that's what like. So we have to do that
reservations
now,
are
right?
Definitely needed. Go to locallicious.ca and you will have all the restaurants there, the menus, and then you can click right on there and make a reservation.
That's
Perfect.
the cool part.
Awesome.
Is having the
We need-
menu up on there as well. I love that.
The
Yeah, 'cause
menu,
you can see
know,
everything.
Some of the chefs are a little, they're busy and they don't get it up. But a lot, I'd say 80% of the menus are up there now, so you can peruse what you're after. But go check out Bayside Variety. Luca, the newest restaurant in town, is going to do lunch only, so we're super excited about that. Get out there, spend some money, make yourself happy. This snow is depressing.
Thanks to Randy, Dale, and Charlie for the preview. The website again to make a reservation, locallicious.ca. And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Julius and Dale and Charlie from Cool Mornings for their input, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Blue Sky and X at Barrie 360, on our website, barrie360.com, and there's our daily Kickstart podcast, available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.